bottom of the screen is just recording what I'm saying. My name is Jeremy Tang. It's a pleasure to be here. I've got here Zach White in the room as well. Hi, Zach. How are you doing?
Yeah, just make sure you guys can hear me. I kind of piped in a few times, but wasn't sure. So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Uh-oh.
you. Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Okay, I'm gonna try doing the webcam too, if that's all right. Okay, there I am. Okay, let's begin. So today's topic is gonna be about back testing. It's a little bit of a, it's one of those weird topics where I think a lot of people kind of know in the back of their head they got to do it, but it's also one of those things that very few people end up doing, and there's a pretty good reason for that. And let's get into why. This is actually kind of the background of a lot of why our company started in the first place. Well, back testing is, let's say, let's pretend that's what you want to do. Okay, so you're a trader and you've got a system, you've got some rules, you've written them down. Maybe you got on a piece of paper. Perhaps you've got on a monitor and you've got your chart up on the other screen, and you're just charting out all the entry points, as well as figuring out where the stop losses are going and the profit targets, and just sort of pretending kind of along the chart where those which ones are winners, which ones are losers, how much do they lose by, how much do they win by, and then you tabulate all those results in a spreadsheet, right? As you can imagine, that's an incredibly tedious and time-consuming process, and so much so, in fact, that we find that most people don't actually do it because it is quite a big hurdle, and it's not just doing it once that's time-consuming. Imagine, right, the first time through, you're not going to get, most likely, you're not going to get a tradable system or system that you find is meets your expectations, right? And why do we backtest? Well, we need to kind of do this for many reasons, right? And one of the biggest reasons for backtest is because you need to sort of set the expectations for yourself, so you know how your trading system is going to behave, you know what kind of profits to expect, you know what kind of drawdowns to expect. Those are all very important things to know before you get into actually trading it, because if you don't have the characteristics down of your own trade system, more than likely you're going to scare yourself away from actually continuing trading it. And so back to where we were, most likely the first try, the first kick of the can, when you finally get all those things tabulated, you're not going to have a tradable system, and you're going to have to go back to the idea phase, and you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, make some tweaks. Then you can go back to your charts and redo all the entries, right? Mark it all up, redo all the tabulation, input all the stuff in the Excel spreadsheet, analyze the results again. And then, you might find yourself doing this on a continuous basis, 20, 30, 40 times, who knows, until you're happy. And then the market conditions change, and then you're back at square one again, right? So obviously this is an incredibly tedious process in such a way that, again, it's so difficult that most people don't even bother doing it. And really, I don't blame you. So, all right, so obviously we have computers today, right? Why not just use the computer to backtest? That seems pretty obvious on the outset, but have you really sat down and thought about it? Like, what does it take to actually backtest using the computer? If you haven't thought about it, think about it for a second, right? What do you really need? Well, you actually need a full-blown auto trader, right? You need to specify to the computer when you're going in how those trades are going to be managed throughout the entirety of its trade, and then all that stuff basically needs to be run through historical data. But what you need is an auto trader to do that, right? Something that a program essentially that describes, again, the criteria for going in and the criteria for going out and how those trades are being managed. And that is, let me tell you, I've been a developer for 30 years now. That's no simple task, even for a seasoned developer. So a lot of you guys are probably from the NinjaTrader ecosystem, perhaps, I'm assuming, and other platforms may have coding sort of built into it, scripting capability built into it. If you've ever tried it, it's one thing to sort of make a simple indicator, but to make a full-blown auto trader, that manages the trades and all that sort of all those other things that during the life of a trade is incredibly difficult and error prone. And that, I would argue, is even harder than actually just simply backtesting itself. So it needs to do it right. So anyway, that's where we come in. You know, this is kind of our mission here is as a company, and what we're really all about is allowing retail traders like yourself to build your own fully automated trade system without having to code it. And to that end, we have two kind of flagship products that help us do this. And you're going to see this in a little bit. So we have on one side, we have a product called Bloodhound. And what that is, it lets you, it's basically a logic engine, lets you generate signals using, again, no code, but the ability to program, and I'm using air quotes here, program using kind of nodes, where you want your signals to occur and in what conditions. And then on the other side, we have the execution side. We have a product called Blackbird, which is basically a strategy manager that manages trades and orders, can also manage your risk and do money management. This is all built so that you can, just actually, let me bring a bit of analogy. Imagine for a second that, you know, these two pieces of software, it's like Adobe Photoshop, and you guys are the artists, right? So it's like a blank canvas, and you can describe how you want your trade system to look and how it behaves, just like the artist would using Adobe Photoshop. All right, so let's go in and actually take a look at what it takes to build something like this, build a full-blown auto trader that you can use to backtest. And to that end, we're going to use a little bit of an example. We like to do this during demos is actually just pull some random example from the internet, like on YouTube, with some perhaps maybe an outlandish claim of how much money it makes and whatever, and then we put it through its paces and we just test it out and see, you know, is there some merit to this system through a back test. So I'm going to pass the buck over to Zach here, who's going to pull up our software and build this system really quickly.
All right. Yeah, so just a moment, guys, while I switch my screen sharing here, and I haven't used GoToMeeting in quite some time. So let's see if I got the right monitor. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I think I got the right screen going. Yeah, looks like it.
That's good. Okay,
cool. All right, so here's the fun part where I get to demonstrate, both Bloodhound and Blackbird to you guys. And to do that, I'm going to kind of put this in the context of kind of a typical trader's journey here, right? And how do you discover what kind of trading idea is worthy of trading? What's actually going to make you some money and what's not going to make you money, right? So nowadays, there's all kinds of trading ideas out there on the internet, right? They're a dime a dozen now, probably less than that, maybe a penny a dozen, right? So YouTube is full of trading ideas. Got people making great outlandish claims here. So I found one of them here, and we're actually going to take this idea and back test it and see if it holds up to the claims being made, right? So I found this one here on YouTube called Easy US 30, which I guess is the Dow, and NASDAQ day trading strategy here, right? So when you start watching the video, wow, look at that, 26 grand a week. Man, sounds too good to be true. So you got me hooked. All right, let's watch, let's dive in a little deeper here. So I'm going to skip forward to the trading idea here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this gentleman here is kind of explaining how the system works here. And so he has this neat little indicator that gives you these green buys and red sell signals here. Actually, let's kind of maximize this out, right? So you can see the little buys and sells, from this indicator. And this is called the UT bots indicator here. So all kinds of buys and sells, at the perfect tops and perfect bottoms, things like that. And so he also, because this obviously, no indicator is perfect by itself. So he's filtering these buys and sells using the this another indicator here called the STC. It stands for shaft trend cycle, right? So when you get a buy signal here, you need the STC to be oversold. And when you get a sell signal, you need the STC to be overbought, right? So pretty simple, cycle trend filtering there, using oversold, overbought from, another indicator there. Well, so now a little bit more about these indicators here. So when I was researching this, the UT bots indicator actually wasn't available for NinjaTrader. So we actually converted that over to NinjaTrader here. So you can see, right, we have the green arrows and the red arrows. So that's coming from the UT bots indicator. And let me also pull up the indicator list here so we can take a look at things, right? So there we go. So we got the UT bots, which we converted over to NinjaTrader for you guys. And we also have the shaft trend cycle as well. So just a little side note on the STC. There was one already available on NinjaTrader, but it wasn't written correctly, so it had a bug in it, and Jeremy had fixed it. So when you download it from us, you're gonna see it listed under shaft trend cycle fixed. So that way, if you have the previous one, right, that way there's no confusion there. So, and again, these two indicators, after this webinar, an email is going to go out to everybody who registered, so that with the download links there, so you can download those indicators and get them installed into your NinjaTrader here. So, all right, so that's the system. Pretty straightforward, right? You take these, red sell and green buys, and you filter them out using the trend cycle, right? So now, how do we take those indicators and turn them into a system, right? Turn them into entry signals. And that's where Bloodhound comes in. So you can see I've got Bloodhound at the bottom here. And then also there's a button at the top of your chart, and that opens up the Bloodhound window here, or the Bloodhound interface. And to save some time here, because I am under the gun here and I want to try and get a lot of, show you guys a lot about, the capabilities of our software. So to save some time, I've already pre-made this system here, right? And so as Jeremy kind of explained, right, Bloodhound is a node-based system here. So there's no coding involved, right? So if I connect this in, right, we can see on the chart here, this node is reading the UT bots indicator. And so you can see we're getting, Bloodhound's giving us these red and green, sell and buy signals here, and marking them clearly on the chart there for you. And so, all right, so we can see the signals there, right, matching up with the indicator. And then we also have the STC indicator. So that node is identifying when the STC is oversold, right? So when it's oversold, that's when we're looking for the buy signals. And when it's overbought, right, that's when it's looking for the sell signals, like so, right? And when you combine that together, right, that's when you get the signals. So, right? And of course, this is on a 24-hour chart here. So at this point, this is when you can give it what I call the eyeball test, right? So you can kind of scan through all these filtered out signals and ask yourself, how good are these? So we look through, it's like, yeah, that buy looked okay. That sell did not look quite so good, right? And that buy looked okay, right? That buy looked okay. That sell looked okay. That buy kind of questionable. It did, we did get a little pop in the market. Yeah, right. So you can just kind of scan through and give it the eyeball test, and let's see here. Yeah, so a lot of these are looking good. Let's see here,
Yeah,
just trying to
and actually,
find some.
I just want to point out something real quick, Zach, is like if you just notice how quickly it was able to just, and this is
Mhm.
really the power behind our software, is you can really tweak things up and change it on the fly and instantly see the results. So instead of having to, mark up your chart manually and that sort of thing, when you got new criteria, you can just plug a new node in, change the node's properties. Instantly you can see the results. And this is before we even get to the backtesting part.
Yep. Yeah. So to expand upon that here, right? We're seeing signals 24/7 here. So, probably you guys are only trading during RTH. So let's add a filter to this. So so we can add a time session solver here. And if I connect that in, we can see here in real time that we can filter out signals during the US equities RTH session there. All right, and so if we look at the chart, there we go. So this is showing us all the bars that are during RTH there, right? So there's that node already set up, right in front of you. Took a couple of seconds, and then I can connect that in, and then it filters out all these signals, right? So we can see all these early morning signals have now disappeared. And we can actually see that really during the trading hours, right, that there were only 2 buy signals there. And if we go back the previous day, there we go. So that had a few more signals in it, right? And then all the overnight signals have been filtered out there, right? So that's how quickly and easily, building a system and seeing those changes in real time is for you. So any of you out there that have, some scripting experience with your trading platform, that it takes time to implement something like that, right? It probably takes, a good 30 minutes to get that implemented into your code and everything. Whereas in Bloodhound, I was able to do it right in front of you in just a matter of seconds there. So now let's kind of get to the testing phase, right? So here's the system development phase. All right, so we have our entry signals, and we could also build some exit signals as well, right? So, some trading ideas, also will tell you that, okay, if your indicators start going against you, that you should just exit out of that trade, instead of waiting for your stop loss to get hit, right? So with Bloodhound, you can build both entries and exit signals, and do a lot more other things too, so maybe you don't want just discrete entry signals, but you would like Bloodhound to kind of tell you what the general trend is. So you could use Bloodhound to kind of output whether you should be looking for long trades during that period, or maybe you should be looking for short trades during that period, right? So there's a lot of use cases here for Bloodhound, more than just simple entry signals here. But this is definitely what a lot of people love Bloodhound for, is to visually see and and attain those entry signals. So let me kind of save this change here and close this out. And so I'm going to switch charts here and pull up Blackbird. So I've got a chart here, and let's pull this out of the way. So I've got another chart ready to go with Blackbird on it, right? And so, what's Blackbird used for? Well, all charting platforms, you have 2 classes here. So a little education here, right? You have the indicators, which are doing all the mathematical calculations. And then you have strategies, which are the auto trader part, right? That's the auto trader portion here. So if you want to do back testing, you have to build a strategy, which is that auto trader that Jeremy explained to you, right? So I have Blackbird, and that's a strategy. So that's what's going to do our back testing here. So we can see that I've already have some results here. Let me kind of stretch this out so we can see that a little better there, right? So we can see NinjaTrader is marking up, the entries and the profit targets, entries and profit targets, and sometimes, right, an entry and a stop loss there. So you can see all that visually on the chart there. But what we're really interested in here are the back test results. So let's
All
go
right,
into
how
this.
many of you guys think it's going to be profitable?
Right, yeah. Let's see, do we have a little chat?
We do.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how many people think this is a winner. So, right, so let's go into the strategy report here.
Oh, what do you know?
And yeah, what do you know? Look at that, almost made 5 grand. And I have 100 days of data on my chart here, right? So now let's take a look at the analysis. So here's where the proof is in the pudding there, so to speak. So there we go. So we can see an equity chart. And really over the last 100 days, this is just kind of struggling to, stay profitable there. Not really what you want to see, from a system, right, that's claiming to make 26,000 a week. So,
Yeah,
all right.
in particular, right? You look at those big kind of drop-offs there. You have to ask yourself, if you started trading, say, late August, right, and a little bit to the left, or even where's that kind of mid October, and you just happen to catch that drop-off, would you stay in using this system, right? And most of you probably, well, I can't speak for everybody. I certainly know I wouldn't be able to stay in and keep trading the system for, it looks like, at least a period of 2 weeks there of just
Yeah,
loss after loss after loss.
especially this October here, where it made its most profit, and then look at that, over a couple of days, boom, it lost it all and went into a little bit of a loss there. Yeah, so there you go. So we kind of know some of the crux of what this is, but again, the devil's in the details here, right? So what did what kind of profit target and what kind of stop loss did I use to back test this? Right, and so since this is kind of the first run here, let's open up Blackbird, right? This was just an initial, down and dirty kind of back test here. So the profit target was a 2 ATR profit target, and the stop loss was just a fixed stop loss. So it wasn't even a trailing stop loss there, right? And so I set the stop loss at the lowest low of the last 5 bars here, right? So one thing I kind of noticed is when you get, when you get these buy signals here, right? So there's a buy, that usually just prior to it, you get some lower bars, right? You get a few bars making some lower lows there prior to the buys, and usually prior to the sell. Actually, here's another good example over here, right? So prior to that sell, there's a few bars prior that make some higher highs. So so I thought, okay, it'll be a good idea to use, the lowest low of, say, the last 5 bars, right? And so that's how I set the stop loss up. So, and one of the things about our software in general is we don't pigeonhole you into trading a specific way, right? Our tools are designed to be very flexible so that you can implement your trading ideas the way you want them, right? So this menu system that I'm showing you is how I told Blackbird, okay, take the low prices of the bars, look at the last 5 bars, and then take the lowest low, right? And then I also added a 1 tick offset. So it's not just at the lowest low, but 1 tick below it, in case the market, if you've been trading, you know that some instruments love to make double bottoms and double tops, especially the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ loves to bottom feed and make those double bottoms a lot. So I was like, okay, just, so in case, the market wants to go stop loss hunting, let's offset that by an extra tick there. So then that sets the stop loss. And as mentioned, there's no trailing capability. This is just a simple fixed stop loss, right? So that's what we back tested. So maybe implementing some trailing stop loss capabilities might improve that equity curve. Yeah. So I've gone ahead and I built that. And so I'm going to load that up here again, trying to get through this here with our limited time. So this system here, I removed the profit target And so let's use a trailing stop loss to just, go with the trend there and try and capture as much profit as possible here. Right. So the stop loss again is set at the lowest low of the last 5 bars, but then I also added a trailing capability. So again, Blackbird is designed to be super flexible, and you can implement, your trailing idea that you want there. And so so Blackbird, the way this is set up is Blackbird's going to analyze. So as every bar prints, right, as each new bar closes, Blackbird is analyzing the last 5 bars and finding the lowest low. And then it'll move that stop loss up if it finds a higher low, right? So let's take that new kind of trailing stop loss idea and let's back test that there. All right, so I have that loaded in. So let's do a reload here so we can get this new system back tested there. All right, there we go. And so now let's go back to our strategy performance and take a look and see what we got. And look at that, man.
Very
Now it's
unexpected.
almost, yeah, you would think a trailing stop loss probably would help it, especially if there was a good run. But apparently there weren't, a lot of good runs, obviously, as this shows here. So let's go to the analysis again and take a look at that equity curve. So again, it's pretty clear. It struggled to stay around break even. And then recently, I guess with all the market volatility, there just weren't enough long runs to really pull any kind of profit out of this kind of system here. Right? So again, a bummer. All right, so I've got one last idea here that I kind of came up with, which is we can see the UT bots, right? It uses this ATR trailing stop loss line here, right? So we actually have this ATR trailing stop loss line. So maybe we should be putting our stop loss on this line and trailing this line down, right? Since the UT bots indicator is what's generating the primary entry signals, right? Makes sense? So let's go and let's load that up, right? So the only thing that really changes here is that our stop loss, instead of trailing the lowest low of the last 5 bars, we're now going to trail the UT bots indicator line there, right? So let me load that up here. And there we go, it's that one. And so if we take a look at the stop loss, so again, our stop loss, it starts off, right, the initial placement starts off at the lowest low of the last 5 bars. And then for the trailing, I actually added a little extra capability here where we're going to wait, Blackbird's going to wait until there's at least one ATR of profit before that stop loss starts trailing there. So this is definitely a very common technique, that I hear about a lot in the workshops, where people, want to give the market some breathing room, right? So you wait for X amount of profit, and then your stop loss starts trailing, right? Very common technique, especially if you're doing the NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ is a lot really, really volatile, so you want to give some breathing room there. So, right. So after that ATR of profit, then that stop loss will start trailing the UT bots indicator there, right? So with that, almost slipped by here to kind of show you some other things here, right? So, if you're trading live, or back testing, it's very common that most people are going to want to have some money management capabilities here. So Blackbird has, all the typical money management rules here. So like you could tell Blackbird, okay, if you make X amount of money, net profit for the day, stop trading. Or if your system, loses a certain amount of money for the day, stop trading, right? And other other, daily money management capabilities as well. And one of the cool things here that we have not seen anywhere else out there is this daily watermark, right? Now, watermarks are common for hedge fund traders, and if you have your say your retirement account being managed by a professional manager there, quite often they will have watermark clauses in the contract, meaning that that the professional manager doesn't make money unless they're making you money, right? Now, of course, that doesn't apply to day trading. So, so you adjust that a little bit, but so the way it does apply to day trading is that you monitor for your max, peak profit for the day, and then you kick in the watermark so that, and so for this example here, right, I put in $600. So that means if the daily profits, net profit, reaches that $600 mark there, the watermark turns itself on, and it's monitoring to see if 50% or more of those profits have been given back. So in other words, let's say, your daily net profit reaches $650, right? So that kicks in the watermark. And then if your system draws that profit down or below $325, right? That's 50% of the 650 in profits that was made, right? Then that watermark kicks in and it stops the trading for the day. So that way, all of your profits don't get traded away, right?
It's kind of like a trailing stop loss for your account is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people think of it, as a trailing stop loss for your account. I mean, technically it's not a trailing stop loss, but that's what it's trying to do there.
Similar, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because, there's a lot of times, during the market, your system can do really good during the morning time, right? When the markets are trending and, and again, right, your system can be up over $600, but then the afternoon gets a little fluffy, a little consolidation, right? And then your system can end up giving a lot of that money back. And sometimes you can lose all that money and then some. And so the watermark there, as explained, is designed so that, so that you only give back a certain amount of those profits and you lock in the rest and just stop trading for the day, right? So anyway, so I'm going to turn off all that money management stuff there. But also we have this scheduler. So, so you remember earlier in Bloodhound, I added that time session solver to isolate the entry signals to only RTH. Well, you can actually do that directly in Blackbird. So instead of actually filtering your entry signals, you can also kind of as a secondary, safeguard here in Blackbird, you can say only trade during these hours. And then also we have the option to close out your trades at the end of the session there. So that way Blackbird will ensure, that what it was trading, is flat. So that way you don't go into the overnight, margin requirements there. And so I think most commonly, the way oil traders like to use this capability is oil traders typically don't want to trade that oil inventory report in the morning, right? So you can easily just kind of block out, the first 2 hours, of the morning there on those weekly oil inventory reports there, right? So that way you're not trading during that high volatility there, And then, I've even heard where some traders just don't want to be trading on Friday afternoons. Now, probably that was probably the case back in the day when the markets were a lot calmer, but who knows? These Friday afternoons can now sometimes be really good trading opportunities. But you can customize these hours as you see fit for your system here. And I'm going to just quickly reset all that. There we go. So I do actually have this turned on here when doing the back test. So let's back test this new trailing stop loss here, and that'll be our last back test. And then I've got something else lined up here that I want to show you guys. So let's, next up, so we have, all right, those adjustments to the stop loss loaded in. So now again, we just need to reload the chart so we can recalculate those changes there that were just made. And there we go. All right, so let's pull up the strategy performance here and see how it did. Well, this time it actually made a little bit of money, but let's go into the analysis. And again, you know, yeah, it's just kind of chopping up and down, up and down, up and down, you know, but again, this is just kind of a first rough draft run through on those core entry signals here. You know, so a lot of our customers, they actually like finding systems that on your rough back testing, they do something like this because, you know, basically this is kind of like break even. And so this, you know, you might consider this something workable. You know, what a lot of people love to use Bloodhound for is they take a raw idea or a core idea, and they always like to implement their own kind of filtering, you know, kind of their own little tweaks to the system. You know, that's one thing that we've found, you know, in the 10 plus years that we've been in business is traders love to customize their trading strategies, their trading ideas, you know, to themselves, right? So you could take an idea like this and tweak it and, you know, hopefully make it better, right? So, all right, so that's the back testing part. And so now I'm actually going to show you a little demonstration of Bloodhound here running on this playback connection, right? So let me get this started here. And remember, we're running on a 5-minute chart here. So I'm going to ramp this up to 50x speed here. So that way we don't have to take hours watching this. So there we go. So I had an entry signal all queued up, ready to go. And so there's our stop loss at the low, right, of the last 5 bars. And now that 1 ATR profit has been achieved, now that stop loss is following the UT bots stop loss line there. Plus I have an offset. I put, what did I put? Let's open this up and take a look.
Yeah, it was an 18 tick offset, I think it was, I saw there.
Yeah, 18 ticks. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, I backed off the stop loss because, you know, look at these, look at those wicks right there, right? Especially with the NQ, right? You'll get those wicks that punch through, and I didn't want those wicks to take out my stop loss, right? That, you know, one of the perils of using stop losses, right, is you get wicks taking you out, and then look, and then the market just kind of took off. So I backed off that stop loss there, 18 ticks from the line. Yeah, we can actually see that here, right? So there's the stop loss line, and that stop loss is backed off a little bit there, right? And so we can just kind of watch that stop loss trail up in real time there. So there, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I just want to point out, like, you're not like forced to trade with the auto trader. You can absolutely take over any time and discretionarily trade your way through it if you like. And so Blackbird it's really good at adjusting on the fly. And so you can either go back, you can, as Zach just did there, he pulled down the stop, you can actually turn it back on and actually put it back right to the auto trader. As you can see, there's kind of manual trade entry buttons on the right as well. So you're not pigeonholed. In fact, we find a lot of our customers, they're somewhere in that spectrum between full auto trade and discretionary auto trading. There's a lot of them are kind of in the middle, right? And so our tools are great for just kind of automating certain things that you find tedious, and then you have full control over the things that you don't find tedious and you like to enjoy and take over and do.
Yep. So yeah, so there you have it. There, there's Bloodhound and Blackbird, in a nutshell there. And it looks like I actually have plenty of time here.
Well, actually, I think we're done at 1 o'clock, Zach. So I've got to wrap up
Oh,
here really quick here.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me switch back over to Jeremy then.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. If you don't mind, Rob, I'll just do a quick wrap up here on my screen. I just
No,
have like.
please, and feel free to wrap up everything, work to your offer. I don't mean to be rude to anybody, but in fairness to the next presenter, I do have
Absolutely.
to ask you guys to go ahead and do that.
I'll go fast if we can just see if I can put my screen back on here. Okay, I guess that would be all right. Show my screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit. I'm more versed with Zoom these days. Okay, I don't think I did that right, did I?
No, you got it. Yep, I see
Oh.
your PowerPoint.
Okay, okay, everybody see my PowerPoint? Yeah, we're good. Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, let me just blast through this real quick. Obviously, one of the things I do want to mention is we spend a lot of time and resources actually helping you achieve success with our software, and to that end, we have a lot of learning resources. First two things, email support, free. We have lots of documentation and videos. We have shark indicator partners actually that use our product, and they actually teach how to use our product as well. But the thing I really want to stress, number 4, we have a weekly live training workshop. This is free for both customers and non-customers alike. And Zach runs those every single week. He's been doing it for what, 13 years now? Is that right? Are we?
Yeah, ever since we started the company. Yeah, I've been hosting those weekly training workshops. I know. I was hoping to show people where to sign up, but
yeah, they're just on our website. If I get a chance, I'll show that. But we also do have a private one-on-one training available. I do want to just quickly go over our. It is Black Friday. It would be remiss if I didn't mention it because, of course, that only happens once a year. So we do have a major sale on right now because we're basically moving into Black Friday. Bloodhound normally is $9.95 by itself. Blackbird is normally $1,500 by itself, and both products are just under $2,500. But for Black Friday, and those of you who have been following us for a while know we don't really discount our products very often. It's really just a few occasions a year, Black Friday being one of them. And so we're going to be discounting it down to $9.95 for Blackbird, $7.95 for Bloodhound, or $1,500 for both. So it's almost like you get one product for free if you take the bundle. We're also putting most of our stuff on sale here, and I do want to show you really quickly how to get to that. But first, if you do put your browser towards sharkindicators.com/backtesting, that was the topic of today's webinar, you should get to this little screen here and allow you to sign up to download those indicators that we showcased today, just in case you want to twiddle with that system. You can use them on their own, or you can use them with a free trial with our software. And like I mentioned, if you get in there and if you go to our main website, you will also see that we do have the Black Friday sale on. Just follow the big red button, and that will show you everything you need to show, or get you to wherever you need to go to get introduced to our ecosystem. And the last thing I do want to say, just before I sign off real quick here, is that we do have 100% money back guarantee. We've been doing this since the beginning of our company. It's worked very well for us. And so that will take the risk out of hopefully any purchase that you do, and that way you can take advantage of the sales. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, just let us know and we can refund your money, because like we really believe in our product. All right, I think we are just 4 minutes over. I apologize, Rob, but again, I want to thank you guys for being here and listening to us. And we'll put the mic over to you, Rob.
Guys, don't worry at all. Things like this happen on a live show. But I want to thank you both for being here and say, wow, what an incredible presentation. Your system looks brilliant, and it's amazing how that one little tweak can turn, a mediocre to losing system into a significant and consistent winning system. You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's the good news. No more expensive programmers. Now you can create your own trade signals, experiment with new ideas, and then validate them with backtesting. You can literally create your own ninja trading system in minutes with no coding required. Absolutely amazing, guys. I have a few ideas that I want to try out. I'd love to be in contact off of the show and stuff like that to talk about it, because the system I use is obviously developed by myself with a lot of things from presenters on the show, and I'm looking for a way to automate it. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to optimize and create your own trading system, obviously like I am, and trade management strategies without any coding, Mr. Tang and White of Shark Indicators have a solution for you. I've put their link in the box multiple times. You can learn more by going to sharkindicators.com. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I wish you all a great weekend, and I hope you come back and see us again.
All right, thank you.
All right. Have a good holiday, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could one more time mention that we are working out a sponsorship deal with Moomoo. I'm going to put another link in the chat box. If you will deposit $100 into an account there, they will give you 5 free trades. If you'll do 1,000, they will give you a total of 15. That will bring us down to our last 2 presenters on the show. And I just wanted to make sure to pause and wish everybody in attendance a happy, blessed holiday